now we're about to switch gears at this point to look at this interesting topic from the point of view of how people need to do as a way of effectively saving up in order to starve off the evil day and avoid living a fake life.
And to have a discussion that is just right and professional regarding that angle of the topic, we're now being joined by Chizor Malize, who is Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Financial Institutions Training Center. Welcome, Chizor Malize, to the program.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Okay, Chizor. You've heard what we discussed earlier on about living a fake life, short-term gratification for long-term, sacrificing long-term gain for short-term gain, basically. So what I want to ask, I want to keep it simple because it's actually a topic that everybody should know, but let's not get too technical here and keep it as simple as possible. There's this thing called the 50-30-20 budget rule. Please educate us on that.
Okay, so part of the things individuals must do is learn to keep some part of their resources for the future, and that's very natural. So oftentimes people are short-term and they're not thinking about the opportunities of tomorrow or building a formidable today so that their tomorrow can be more stable. And so there is a formula that individuals can apply, and of course small businesses as well can apply so that they can be stronger and they can last longer. And we all know how important the money and finance is. So when you talk about the 50-30-20 budgeting principles, it advises all of us, individuals, to be able to set aside 50% of their resources and income and earnings to their expenditure. To be able to set aside another 30% to their savings and 20% to investments. Your investments are bigger things that can yield you tomorrow. But the thing is that 50-30-20 depends on the phase you are in life. At certain time in your life, you really do not need to put away so much money because you are spending at that point. So when you're starting a new family, your children are growing up, they're in school, you're trying to meet all of those expenses, rent or mortgage, you find out that a lot of your expenditure would align to the 50 principles because you are spending much more.
School fees and the rest
School
of it.
fees and the rest of it. So you are putting away deliberately your 30 and your 20, mind over matters, putting away something gradually. But remember that when you flip also and you become more stable based on age and where your point where you are, you probably do not even need to expend as much as 50% because if you're in retirement,
you're
for instance,
you're
spending less. Yes. So you are not going to be spending every single of your 50% anymore. You are also wanting to build a stable life. Even if you are retired at 60, you could live to 80, and that's 20 solid years. So you can therefore flip it again so that rather than you are looking at 50% to expenditure, 50% of the savings and investments that can lead you through that period because you're not working anymore. And so the most important thing is to work within that paradigm to see that you are using a formula. And that sometimes you may have more resources to invest, so you flip it again to see that, I can make some investment. So your 30% can be to that real estate I want to acquire, that flat I need to buy. It allows everybody to be structured because tomorrow's weather, you want to be able to go through it in comfort.
I completely agree with you. And I think that applies to majority of people who are in stable employment and do have this income whereby they can invest a part of it, save a part of it, and then expend a part of it. But there are people, majority of our population are either entrepreneurs or living below the poverty line. Yes, young people who don't have that income to say, yes, I can invest, I can save. What's your advice to this group of people who work so hard to invest into businesses and at the end of the day, they are not profitable and they can't follow this rule?
Everybody can follow the rule, and I'll let you know how they can follow the rule.
Great.
Everybody can follow the rule. So start with the fact that, and I do love the micro and small and medium scale business owners because the SMEs are the bane of the economy and the success. So many people belong to that category, stimulating our economy through commerce and engagement. Now, but the formula is also important because it means that if I am a trader and I have started my trading, for instance, with 300,000 naira, I am not putting all of the revenue, resources, or profit from the 300,000 naira without putting some of it aside. So the tendency is for people, and that's a big mistake that the SMEs make a lot. The tendency is for people to dip into the entire pot to buy their clothes, dip into the entire pot to settle bills, dip into the same pot that is supposed to be grown for the business to buy jewelry.
In order to attain profitability.
Exactly. So people become reckless with spend because there is no structure. So first of all, when they are structured and they're thinking finance, they're asking themselves, from my profit, I want to be able to set aside, say for instance, XYZ amounts to add to my capital, so my capital has grown. From that profit that is remaining after I have set this aside, these are my expenditure on a monthly basis.
But I think that would also take some skill, like Olatunde was saying, because I mean, the woman who sells akara or the person who's selling pepper might not be able to, you know, be as strict in dividing.
Not even
You'll
and
be
besides, how much profit are they making? They
amazed.
probably just have enough to pay the basic necessities just to survive. But let's round up in 1 minute, please, because we're almost done.
Because when you take that also, there are different levels of SMEs. And even these individuals you've spoken about, you'll be amazed how they wrap their money and put it over and set it aside. They also, absolutely, they also set their monies aside. So we are only saying everybody set aside for tomorrow, find a structure and a formula to be able to set something aside.
But don't you think inflation will play a role in this as well? Is it as easy to do when inflation is rising like you?
Inflation is a global thing. If you have a structure everywhere in the world right now, the world is facing inflation.
No, but is the ability to save viable when what you used to buy for 10 naira is now 100 naira?
You simply structure your formula to what you do have. Because you can't wait until inflation is over, it's not in your control to begin to save.
But you might not be able to save as much.
You may not save as much because nobody's money is the same anymore. As inflation erodes and as in fact, even interest rates issues and of course foreign exchange issues, everybody's value is eroding.
Thank you so much.
Just keep a structure.
Thank you so much, Chizor. I wish we'll invite you again sooner or later because I think you give me some nice financial advice. Thank you so much for being with us on Perspective.
Pleasure.
I appreciate you coming today.
I appreciate you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
So that's all we have time for today. You've been watching Perspectives here on Arise News with me, Ruth Osime.
And I'm Olatunde Majekodunmi Oniru. Goodbye for now.